Hi all, I am Sunil Dandge. I am from ARI Pune, India. We'll go through evolution of lithium-ion cell behavior under mechanical average conditions using LS-DYNA. So the main focus will be to get overall idea about the cylindrical cell modeling and its behavior under mechanical average conditions. So here we'll go through the details about lithium-ion cell construction, its material property extraction, FE modeling of the cell, which includes material modeling, and this FE model will be used for different load cases. Before going into details, we'll go through how the batteries are dangerous. You can see that in the first picture, Tesla model car was damaged due to battery explosion after hitting road debris. Same kind of behavior was observed in mobile batteries as well. Most dangerous scenario was observed in the last case where the car was completely burned out due to the battery explosion. So it creates a question in mind, what causes battery to explode? If we go into the details, we found that there is a mechanical deformation of a battery which in turn results in short circuit and then the thermal runaway and fire. That means battery designing is an important factor for crashworthiness of the vehicle. This encourages us to develop a FE model of a battery cell. Here we try to develop a detailed FE model of cylindrical lithium-ion battery cell. Here in pole test, we can see that the load was transferred to the battery pack. Generally, battery pack is kept on the floor in EVs. So this load on the battery pack will be transferred to the individual cell which it came in contact. That means individual cell has to sustain the transfer impact load, and thus it is important to model the cell appropriately while carrying out simulation for crashworthiness of the vehicle. Now we will go through the cylindrical cell construction. A cylindrical lithium-ion battery is composed of battery casing, cathode, anode, and separator. In this we can see that there are different layers which are added up. There is an anode, a cathode, which are separated by the thin layer called separator. The separator is the weakest part in the cell, and if it gets ruptured due to impact, a short circuit will happen and ultimately results in fire. So modeling each part with actual material properties is crucial to capture the event. Here we try to capture the geometric properties of different parts of the cell, and the same will be used for FE modeling. We can see that there are 19 concentric layers of anode, cathode, and separator, and all these layers are winded up in a metallic casing. As the thicknesses of these parts are very small, we measured with the help of a coordinate measuring machine with accuracy of 0.001 mm. Once collected the dimensions of individual layers, the dimensions of remaining 18 layers can be inferred from thickness and the innermost values. Before going for cell assembly, we followed a charging and discharge protocol in which the cell is completely discharged on the Bitfoot cell using a protocol. Cells were discharged at 1C to the lower voltage limit and maintained in this limit until the current drops to lower than the minimum value. After 1 hour rest period, the batteries were charged at 1C to the cutoff voltage, followed by maintaining at the voltage until the current drops to lower than minimum level. You can refer this voltage versus time graph. After charging discharging protocol, we cut open the cell and then the cell was disassembled. In order to create material samples for testing, jelly roll was removed from the cell casing and then unrolled it. These material samples will help us to capture the accurate properties of anode and cathode. To ensure the equal sizing among the samples, aluminum template was used. The layers of current collector were cut using knife without damaging any cell property. 36 layers of template cutouts, both anode and cathode, each layer of size 35 by 35 mm, were used to make a stack. This stacking was used for material modeling, material extraction for both anode and cathode. We use instrument machine to perform compression test. Compression tests were carried out for anode and cathode by placing them between two circular plates. At first, the linear increment in the load value of anode is observed. After that, there was a drop in force value. The drop in the force value corresponds to failure in current collector, copper coil. Initially, the slope changes due to the collapse of active material. Hence, the bilinear isotopic material used for computational. So, this material property will be used for FE modeling of a cell. It is also observed that the stiffness of coated aluminum layer, which is anode in our case, is almost double than that of the coated copper layer, a cathode one here. Even though the bulk modulus of copper is higher than that of the aluminum. Thus, the coating of anode and cathode plays significant role while analyzing the compression test of the jelly roll. And for separator, we use material properties from literature, which are readily available. Now we will go through various mechanical testing. Cells are subjected to various loading conditions such as radial compression, axial compression, three-point bending, semicircular punch, flat circular punch, and hemispherical punch. This is the specially designed test apparatus, which consists of compression loading machine with a data logger, then film hole to prevent spillage, transparent sheet for weaving deformation test, a slot for thermal imager, and then the voltage acquisition system, which is the important thing, to observe short and the instant voltage recovery. Once the cell geometry data and material data is obtained, we developed a FE model of cell as that of physical cell. We use cell elements to model outer casing, and for anode and cathode, we used solid elements. You can see here the different stripes are there, which shows anode and cathode layers. And we can see its very fine modeling was carried out to capture each and every detail. An isotropic elastic plastic material model was used for material modeling. Also, the failure was defined for each model. Now we will go through the physical testing, that is for radial compression. The cell may undergo radial compression as a result of frontal or side impact of the vehicle, and thus it will transfer the load to battery pack, and in turn it will transfer the load to the cell. That is what we discuss. Here in the bottom we can see that two cells are there, one is tested one and one is without any deformation. This is the load cell where your cell is kept, and through the wires we will measure the voltage, the change in voltage, what is actually we want, or it is the parameter which can tell us the rupture of the separator. From the graph we can see that or the graph can be divided in three stages. Uh, in the first stage, the load increases linearly to eliminate the possible gaps within the cell, and in the second stage, the pores in the active material starts filling. So this is the second step, we can say from 2 to 4, where the pores get started filling, and thus shows some curve pattern like metal forms. After that, in the third stage, we can say, once the pores get collapsed, the dense cell leads to com compact stage. So this is the compact stage, which has like a high stiffness value, uh, we can see here. After that, there is a sudden drop in the force value. At the same time, we can see that there is a drop in voltage. So that means that the voltage drop is a result of uh, rupture, uh, which results which results which results in short circuit. This load versus deflection curve is a very important one, and this will be used for correlation with our simulation as well. And this type of pattern where the load drops, at the same time the voltage also drops. So this pattern is observed in all other tests. You may consider semicircular indentation or flat circular indentation or 3-point bending. So in all tests, same kind of pattern was observed. So we tried to correlate only compression test with our simulation. So next we'll go for the simulation, what we carried out and its correlation. Now coming to simulation, simulation test for radial compression test. The cell is kept between ground and the load is applied to the plate on the cell. Ground and plate both are rigid parts, and the force was applied. And the graph of force versus deflection is observed. So we can see, like if we compare this graph with the tested graph, we can see that it follows similar trend. Not only the similar trend, we can see that what are the stages we discussed in earlier slide, same stages we can see here as well. So it will be having compression of force, then it will be compressed one, and the trend is similar one. Even if we compare the load values, the maximum load value in simulation is 30.2 kilonewton against the load observed in experiment, that is 32.8 kilonewton. So this is the maximum load, whereas the first load drop is observed at 5.2 mm deflection. So if we compare the deflection in simulation against the voltage drop at 5.3 deflection of cell in experiment. So it's very much close to the physical one. In terms of correlation, we can say that it achieves more than 90%, both in the deformation, that is deflection, as well as the maximum load. And we can say that it's a very much a robust model. If we go for the breakage or failure and short circuit of the battery. Same model was used for other load cases as well. That is flat punch, similar semicircular, then axial compression, and hemi sphere and 3-point bending. We'll just go through the animations, like how it is getting deformed. So this is how it get deforms for the radial compression. If we check for the flat punch, so almost like all the behavior is same. We can say that all these tests gives same kind of deformation, because all those are radial kind of thing. Whereas if we go for axial compression, it's a bit trickier one, because there is kind of bulging, which results in issues in penetrations between two elements. So this can be sorted out using contact automatic and the SOC 2 option, which is very robust one. And like if we go for other test also, which is again it's kind of radial one, and this is the 3-point bending test. So this is what we try to simulate. 3-point bending test, it had some issues, so we are working on that for 3-point bending test. In conclusion, we can say that the detailed FE modeling and actual material properties can give us more accurate results. And observing force versus deflection and deflection versus voltage will help us to establish good correlation. In future scope, one can try for anisotropic material modeling to better capture deformation mechanism. Yes, that's it. Thanks everyone. Hope that this presentation will help you further, and we are open for questions. Thanks a lot.